Have you heard the term net neutrality or open internet? Do you know what it means or how it could affect you or anything that you do on the internet? I've got some questions from Connecting Point viewers and even some concerns. They had something to say about this topic, and here to explain more about it is Martha Fuentes-Bautista, the Assistant Professor of Communication at UMass Amherst, and Eric Smith, one of her students. And there's a great reason why you're here today, which kind of goes into all of this, this talk about net neutrality, which really covers everybody is affected by net neutrality. But kind of, Martha, explain the premise behind it. What exactly does it mean? Okay,
in a basic level, net neutrality is a network design principle to ensure that we have, if you want, non-discriminatory distribution and access to content online, applications and services that are online. When we say non-discriminatory, it's kind of, if you want to say, if we have a highway, that everybody kind of has a standard, the same rules to access and transit the highway, correct? So we want to have this clarity in terms of how the content will be distributed, how the applications will be distributed in the same manner.
And I think a lot of people don't realize, though, that it applies to them. Well, I just use the internet to check my email, or I use the internet to watch movies on Netflix, or I use the email to check news. They don't realize that it can apply to them. How? How would it affect them?
Well, if you think about it, as we have different kind of applications, like video applications, correct? You see your internet can slow down. They are network intensive. They need more bandwidth. There are certain applications that maybe you can get easy access to, but how we ensure that people really have the kind of same internet experience, the same, if you want, speed even, you know, to connect at one point or another, to be aware of what is available there. So if you think about the net neutrality is a basic standard for that, correct? So proponents of net neutrality advocate in terms of, it's like leveling the playing field, correct, for all content providers to compete and offer the content. People who are not very pro net neutrality say, hey, well, you know, there are some network providers that might enhance your internet experience and give you better speed for certain content. It may be slowing down others.
So you have people on both sides of this issue, which is probably why it's such a controversial topic as well, because some people are for net neutrality, some aren't. But the FCC just recently got involved and they're trying to figure out what's going on. Give us an update on that.
Well, the FCC got involved actually some years ago. The net neutrality debate has been open since the 90s. We were concerned about, you know, what about internet service providers that are integrating and are getting more and more power, correct, as content providers and also delivering the system, the content to your house. But what happened is that in recent years, we saw cases that are documented. Actually, some of them happened here in Boston, where a cable company was slowing down a peer-to-peer service. And the public spoke, and some public interest organizations like Free Press and Public Knowledge took the case to FCC, and the FCC actually looking at the evidence of this kind of discriminatory treatment here in Boston, in other cities like New York or San Francisco and so forth, they establish a norm and standard, correct? So some companies were not very happy with that and challenged the authority of the FCC to basically set those rules on them.
And now this has something to do with, and this is why you're here as well, Eric, too, is because with you teaching at UMass Amherst, you're getting your students involved. And really, when you think about it, we were kind of talking about this before off camera, I don't know if most kids know what life was before the internet. The internet just turned 25 years old, and I don't know if most of them realize what life was like before the internet. So this could potentially change the way you live.
Exactly. Like we said off camera before, I remember dial-up, but barely. So, I mean, there are kids right now who are just little, 3, 4-year-olds who have iPads and already know how to use it. So this definitely affects the way we entertain ourselves, the way we learn. I mean, colleges, everything's online right now, so.
What are you doing with your professor at UMass Amherst?
Well, right now we're working on a project in cooperation with Free Press, which is a nonprofit based in the Valley, on promoting a more free and people-oriented internet and media policy. So students have the opportunity to choose to work with other student groups or student demographics on campus to tackle the issues and really spread awareness and educate people on the issues of either media surveillance or net neutrality, which is why we're here to talk to everybody today.
Now, some people argue, of course, like we were saying earlier, the FCC has the right to get involved and kind of level that playing field. Some people say, no, just leave it out and let whatever's going to happen, happen. Would you say that internet is a basic human right?
Well, it's not that I say it. Actually, the Human Rights Commission, the UN, by the first time last year, said and a standard for that. They did say that internet access does have an impact in the way how we shape our political understanding and so forth. So it does have implications for freedom of speech. And so this is an ongoing debate here in the U.S. and abroad. And I have to say, the FCC, the challenge in court was we had the decision at the beginning of this year, and yes, the court said that out of a technicality, the FCC didn't have authority to rule in this matter. So right now, actually, we do not have any standard in the country that protects consumers or internet users in terms of net neutrality.
Now, when I brought this up on Twitter, I had a couple different people that kind of threw in their 2 cents, very interesting from both sides of the argument. Somebody said, cable companies are holding content hostage. Is that what you want? And then the other person responded back, the hostage taker is your state and local regulations that prevent competition in providers. Who's the bad guy? Is there a bad guy in all of this picture?
I think that even for markets, for free markets to have real competition, you have to have clear rules, correct, of engagement. Let me give you an example of a neutral, if you think, regulation or standard in a service, in a public service. Let's say the post office, your post office, correct? You know that the standard is kind of a basic service, correct? That your package will be delivered if you pay that rate. It will be delivered in 3 days if it's in Boston or so forth. And if you want priority express mail, you can pay more. And actually, you can choose any private provider in the marketplace, correct? But you have the standard. But in a market that we have no standards for the delivery, someone may decide that they deliver your package in 30 days and another package in 1 day. And the cost, who determines the cost? How we as a society establish, transparency, if you want, in the marketplace. That's the question, really. If you think about net neutrality, it should be thought actually as a public standard for how we want our internet to operate in the future. So the more and more specialized we want this program online and being delivered to everyone, correct? And everyone in your audience to be able to watch it. Will the network support that for everyone? That's the question.
Eric, how would you say that learning about net neutrality has kind of changed your mindset on the internet?
As a young person, I think it's important to look at how it hits home. And one thing that really struck me was recently learning about how Netflix and Comcast recently made a deal to settle out to pay for Netflix to pay Comcast a certain amount of money to not slow down Netflix services. Once net neutrality was rolled back by the federal courts a few months ago, everybody was kind of wondering what was going to happen in that period between then and when the FCC started to revisit the rule to see how they're going to re-implement net neutrality if they were going to in the end. And even before anything happened, Netflix made a deal with Comcast so that they wouldn't slow down the streaming and the bandwidth for people to watch Netflix to pay them money. And so now we might see Netflix fees increasing. We might see other companies following suit, because when you look at it, Comcast also owns NBC Universal. So they have a competition involved with internet sites like Hulu. So they have an interest in not allowing Netflix to compete with them. And as a result, students who watch Netflix all the time, much more than TV because it's a lot cheaper, are disproportionately affected by that.
Gotcha. Well, it's definitely opened your eyes to a lot of things. Before we close, I do have to mention 2 comments that I had 2 different viewers mention on Twitter. The first one said, the internet offers opportunity to fight back versus media centralization. Why give up that fight? And then another comment, which is so true, but like he said, it's sad the internet started out being a place to share information, but has become so commercialized. So we'll definitely see where this fight continues to lead. Thank you so much, Professor and Eric, for joining me.
Thank you.